Welcome everyone to another session with Jay Abraham, the founder of Metanoia Academy. The Love Journey is your love doctor. Today we're discussing the 7 different parental types that are destined to make you emotionally neglected. And it's not only to themselves. And this is just to make you understand why you are emotionally drained, emotionally neglected, emotionally distant, emotionally unavailable, and so on. This is just to really give you explain and show you the 7 different parental types that gives you that result. So this is based on one of the research from Dr. Jonice Webb, and she discussed it in her book. There's a couple of books that she wrote, Running on Empty, Running on Empty No More, and then further explained in other books, which is the boy who was raised as a dog, which is a phenomenal book. But there's 2 things that stand out of emotionally neglected parent, and I'll share with you the other part for this too. So either they emotionally fail their children in some critical way in a moment of crisis. Now here's the key word: moment of crisis, causing the child a wound which may never be repaired, or they are chronically tone deaf to some aspect of the child's needs throughout his or her childhood development. I'm not sure if you were born in a traditional household or not, but for me it was the concept that every time I feel upset or not happy, my parents would say, "Well, why are you upset? You have everything you ever need. You have so much more than I ever had." See, these parents have good intention and have good understanding, but they don't see things from your level, and because of that, you become emotionally neglected, emotionally distant. So every time you feel upset, they get angry. So you say to yourself, "I don't want to be upset anymore, because I don't want to get them angry anymore." Stuff like that. So the second factor you have to understand, the second thing that you need to know is that if you are being emotionally neglected as a child and that you are reading this, it's not your fault. Because first thing first, narcissistic. The name narcissistic came from the Greek myth of a Narcissus, which is, it said that a narcissist who was so handsome, a young man who looked dazzling to all who knew him. Many praised them. A lot of women love him. A lot of men want to be like him. So he was so vain that he loved himself so much that he looked in the water and saw his own reflection. He fell in love with his reflection so much that he went and drowned. That's what I guess narcissist is all about, and be able to. So how awesome is that? So narcissistic parents, narcissistic people are a lot like a lot like the name. So most of the time they run on full tank of superiority, confidence, and charisma, but sometimes narcissistic recognizes that their sense of superiority to others is an illusion. Therefore, they gravitate toward evidence that confirms that the sense of superiority, and they avoid interaction or relationships that provide evidence to the contrary. So they don't want to go through any. Second comes their permissive parents. They consider the opposite of an authoritative family. So the people are authoritative, just think of it that way. The permissive parents' motto is "Don't worry, be happy." They do not provide the children with limited structure or in adolescent a strong adult presence against the child, against which the child can rebel. So it's just saying that they have no energy, they don't have the power to rebel against it. So they just tell you, "You know what, go out and hang out with your friends, go out, mom and dad, can I go do this? Just go do it, just as long as you're happy. I just want to make sure that you're happy." So they'll give you no structure, no boundaries, no limitations, no understanding of what's right and wrong. They just let you do everything and understand that mentality. Bereaved parent. So these are parents that are divorced or widowed. This is a little bit sensitive. Of course, bereaved parents are often just desperately trying to cope. It's not really your fault, or it's not really, in a way, not their fault, but they're trying to go over something. So it's not easy to have a parent who's grieving. It's even harder when they're grieving your own parent whom they lost as well. So imagine you losing a father or a mother, and imagine them losing a husband or a wife. It's just the same concept, but of course, because you feel confused and lost within your own emotions, and they're crying, you cannot seek out your own attention because you see them suffering, and because they're suffering, you don't want to put more burden on them by telling them that you're also suffering. So you tend to take on that kind of responsibility on yourself by just pushing all the emotions down, and you say, "You know what, because I just want to be there for my mom, I just want to be there for my dad, when in reality they're the ones that should be there for you. So it becomes a little complicated, and it becomes a little bit difficult for you to understand yourself. Fourth, the addicted parent. When you hear the word addicted, of course, most of us think about alcohol and drug, but there's a whole different combination of addiction. Addiction could be gambling, there could even be sex addiction, there could be workaholics, there could be doing a lot of things that get their time occupied away from you. And the way it's described, it said addiction encompasses a much broader range of compulsive behaviors, from gambling, shopping, internet, or even porn addiction, to even scratch tickets, cigarettes, slot machine, online gambling. But these pursuits can cross the line into addiction when a person begins to, here's the things, feel intense pleasure, bordering on relief when they're doing the activity, spend more and more time on the activity for the family to complain or notice, spend money and other resources on activity where they can't even afford it, use the activity for many purposes to relieve stress, socializing, play, manage emotions, and so on, deny the activity is harming oneself or anyone else. 5. Depressed parents. Most depressed kids believe that they have to portray perfection in order not to get their parents angry or upset. This parent may become entrenched in their personality, so he or she has great difficulty rocking the boat, making mistakes, or allowing themselves to feel imperfect human being. If the parents is depressed already enough, the parents are not feeling loved about themselves, they feel like if they said anything that aggravates the parents will come back and attack them. For that, they have to remain perfect, they have to remain good, they have to remain in such a perfect image and not a human image. So in order for the parents to start feeling happy, maybe, and then start associating the depression of the parents with themselves. If they like, maybe they're depressed because I got a lower grade, maybe they're depressed because I did something wrong. For that, I'm gonna be that perfect kid, so the parents can become happy again. 6, this is a little twist: a child acting as a parent. This the parent actually encourages or enforces his child or their child to behave as if they are the parent, not the child. Sometimes the child must parent themselves, and sometimes he or she must parent their sibling as well. A lot of you guys that had, let's say, a huge amount of kids or a lot of pool of kids in the family, usually the elders will take care of the young ones, and they start to change their diapers, take them to school, do all the stuff as a parent. And the parents, because the parents are too occupied or worried about their own stuff and they can't manage. In the most extreme example, a child can even be called upon to parent the parent. The parents might be depressed, maybe came home drunk, so they have to clean them, wash them, put it back to bed, and do what a parent's supposed to do. As Michael Jackson was never be able to kid. So when he get older, he was only able to associate himself as a kid. So he remained in that childhood mentality, and because of that, he only wanted to hang out with kids rather than adults, because that's where his brain capacity was limited to. He was only limiting himself to become a kid and only live as a kid. Similar story. Last but not least, the well-meaning but neglected themselves parents. A long title. She uses that title. I'm not sure why, but it kind of makes sense when you read it. So even the most loving and well-meaning parents can be emotionally neglectful. It's entirely possible for a parent who loves and wants the best for the children to emotionally neglect. How? The truth is, to love your child is a very different thing from being in tune with your child. For healthy development, loving a child just isn't enough. Just to tell them that you love them and love them is not enough. You have to actually be there, be attentive, be available, be not only physically available, but emotionally available. So if you're on your phone and hanging out with your kid, that's not the same as just hanging out with your kid. Being present is actually being intuitively present. Understand more, you want to learn more, let me know, and I'll be happy to share with you all the information, all the knowledge. And whoever's going through the love journey, there's more to you guys, more in-depth understanding and awareness of all the parental style. For that, I'll leave you guys to it, and tomorrow we'll share the second part of how to attack such a situation like this and understand yourself better. I am Jay Abraham, the founder of Metanoia Academy, the Love Journey. Just your love doctor, signing off. See you guys.